run at Randwick shortly. One of the big events in the Australian racing calendar. It'll be for Australian viewers only. Won't be taking it to our overseas viewers, despite the fact that some of them may well have had a mozza on one or two of the races. And that Summer Cup ride will be Darren Beadman's last. He's been an outstanding jockey in Australia. And he's on Ask the Waiter. And at Royal Randwick, here's Ken Callender.
Thanks very much, Richie. Yes, it's Darren's day at Royal Randwick. The day, as Richie just told you, when Australia's most popular jockey, Darren Beadman, retires from the saddle. It's a career nipped in the bud because Beadman, at just 32 years of age, has answered a call from God, and he'll enter Bible school next month with a view to becoming a minister in the Christian Life Centre. Well, Darren's been riding for 16 years. He's ridden horses like Saintly, Octagonal. He's won 2 Melbourne Cups, a Golden Slipper, a Cox Plate, and the crowd turned out at Randwick today to watch his last 3 rides, and he never let them down. In the very first race on the program, Darren was aboard a colt called Eigerwin. That's him in front. He kept responding to Darren's riding, and Darren told us later what a thrill it was. Eigerwin, incidentally, is part owned by Bob Hawke, and he dashed away to win the opening race in very, very easy fashion. Darren's second race, or second ride, wasn't quite as lucky. He finished 3rd. There he comes back on Eigerwin, and of course he's got 1 mount left. Later in the day, very shortly, and you'll see it live on Channel 9, Darren will be riding Ask the Waiter in the Summer Cup. About 10 minutes ago, the AJC held a presentation to Darren, and part of the presentation was an award to Darren of a 100-year-old Gothic Bible. The presentation was conducted by Mr. Jack Ingham. Here's what he had to say.
We all know Darren's record of achievements in the saddle. At the young age of 31, he's a true champion, going out at the peak of his career. Darren is not only a champion jockey, he's a special person. He's a wonderful husband, a great father, and somebody that we can all admire. Darren, I want you to accept this gift with the best wishes of us all. You've been a great ambassador of the sport over the last 15 years. Racing, the big loser is racing. The winner, God, whose message you're going to deliver. I'd like you all to join with me in giving Darren a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an antique Bible, so it's quite appropriate.
I am. Mr. Allport, Mr. Jack Ingham, members of the committee, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I never thought I'd be standing here this early in my career doing what I'm doing, but God had other ideas. To me, Randwick is my home. That's why I chose this track to have my farewell day. Over that way, south, about a kilometre, is where I grew up in Sydney under the care of Mr. Theo Green. And he was such a wonderful master, and everything that you've seen in my riding career as far as a jockey, he put the the finishing touches and laid the foundations there. And I thank him dearly for all the help and support and confidence he had in me throughout my career. Standing behind me, I have my darling wife, Kim, and our 3 children, Mitchell, Jessica and Rachel. They've been with me through good times and bad times, and all credit to my wife for the way that she stuck by me and encouraged me to keep moving on. I didn't know how I'd feel today, but when I woke up this morning, it just felt like another day to me. And I guess once I have my last ride, I think that's when the emotion will really start to set in. But if there was any hesitancy or doubt or regret, I wouldn't be standing here. I'm very happy to be going into what I'm going to do, to go and help the church, help Jesus, help God, spread the word and preach the word, and to help others. Special thanks goes to my mum and dad and my sister and all our families. They've travelled from all over Australia to be here. I thank them all very much and I love them all. I'd like to thank all the owners and the trainers and all the public and the punters and everyone out there that's come here. I was only signing a autograph in there today from a couple of young girls that flew all the way from Perth just to be here on my day. And that really touched my heart to see somebody come as far as that to see my final day. I love you all, and I've really treasured every moment that I've had here at Randwick and in my racing career. And if I had it all over again, I wouldn't change it. It's been tremendous. And I thank the AJC for the way that they've put on this day. John McGee and Tony King and all their staff. Special thanks to Jack and Bob Ingham. As Mr. Ingham has said, like, it's been 17 years. Had my first ride for them and one of my last. And that's the sign of true friendship when someone is with you for that long. I know there's going to be a big hole to fill in racing, but there's plenty of young, up-and-coming jockeys in that jockeys room in there that have got the potential to make it to the level that I have. God bless you all, and I wish you all a prosperous new year. Thank you.
Well, Jack Ingham said it all when he said not only a great jockey, but a special person. And he's a man of many talents too, because after that presentation, Darren joined with a quartet called the Four Sisters from his church, and they did some gospel singing. You never thought you'd see that at Royal Randwick, did you? But after that, to wind up the presentation, the AJC chairman, Mr. Tony Alport, called for 3 cheers for the man of the day.
Please join with me for 3 cheers for Darren Beadman. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Darren Beadman.
Darren there was wearing the cerise colours of Octagonal, the colours of Mr. Jack and Mr. Bob Ingham. In the Summer Cup, he's wearing pink and blue colours, the colours of the owners of Ask the Waiter. And there he is, Darren, about to mount Ask the Waiter, who incidentally is trained by the little fellow next to Darren there, Ron Quinton. 8 times Premier jockey, like Darren, apprenticed to Theo Green at Randwick. And as Darren said, Ron Quinton was always Darren's role model in racing, and no better man could he follow. And I'm sure as a last favour to Ron, he'd just love to win this Summer Cup. Ask the Waiter, as you could expect, is favourite with punters on the tote. And let's have a look at what prices they're paying on the tote at the moment. We've got a little bit of manipulating to do as Darren goes out on Ask the Waiter, who of course I told you was favourite, and Ask the Waiter is drawn a little bit deep. If he just has a little bit of luck early, well, it's got a good chance. Right, let's go down the tote board. I've got a little bit of change here to do as we go. Number 1 linesman is showing at $10 or odds of 9 to 1. Stony Bay is well in commission at $5 on the tote, odds of 4 to 1. Praise Indeed is a scratching. Darren's Mount Ask the Waiter is favourite at the moment with tote punters, just out a fraction more to $4 or 3 to 1. Number 5 Delinquent, possibly a good roughie in the race, is at $16. Number 6 Nazarich, trained by Bart Cummings, is at $12, out to $41 for Racing Writer, one of the roughies in the race. Number 8 Jack and Archie is at $14. Number 9 Ice and Glass is in a touch to $11, while Morning Mail from the Gay Waterhouse stable is at a quite reasonable price of $12. Luther, number 11, is at $16, out to $18 as I speak. Number 12, He's a Dane, is at $12. Number 13, Joss Sticks, is at $16. Number 14, Planet Hollywood, one of the roughies, getting right out now to $81. And Enjoyment, another of the Gay Waterhouse runners, is at the same price. Well, the horses are over now behind the barrier, waiting to go into line for what will possibly be Darren Beadman's last ride. And I say possibly because there are a lot of people who think that, well, the call of racing might just be too much, and if he can mix it with his work in the church, that he'll eventually make a comeback. All in Racing, of course, hope so. Famous quotes like Bart Cummings saying, I wish he'd get a second opinion. One man who'll miss Darren greatly is John Tapp. John, must be a moment of sadness tinged watching Darren here on this great day.
Certainly is, Ken. I'm proud to say that I've been amongst his friends for the last 15 years or so, since he rode his first winner on Flagget at Wyong in July of 1982, and I can remember that day very clearly. His riding talents have changed dramatically through those 15 years, but his attributes as a human being haven't. His humility, his integrity have never diminished, and his compassion and kindness to others has intensified in recent years. As a jockey, well, I'm already on record as saying that I believe he's the best in Australia. He's the best I've seen since the legendary George Moore, because of his consistency and the fact that he gives every runner every chance on every occasion. A great rider and a great gentleman, and he's about to ring down the curtain on a short but magnificent riding career on Ask the Waiter, very fittingly trained by one of his dearest friends, former champion jockey Ron Quinton. Now they're just about set for the Tooheys Summer Cup. Moving up into line is Ice and Glass on the outside of the field. Planet Hollywood goes in. Luther stands nicely, so does Joss Sticks and Ask the Waiter. He's a Dane bobbing the head around in barrier 3. Racing Writer in gate 9's a little fidgety. Jack and Archie held by an attendant. Off they go in the Tooheys Summer Cup, and slow to move at the start is Racing Rider, who went straight back to the tail of the field. Delinquent bounced out in front. Morning Mail is away quickly. Stony Bay, one of the leaders, and Luther coming over from the outside in the Crown Lodge colours, looking for the lead. Linesman is going forward under his big weight, followed by Joss Sticks. Enjoyment, He's a Dane. Ice and Glass about 4 deep at the moment. Then Racing Rider, followed by Ask the Waiter, Nazarich, and out the back Planet Hollywood. Stony Bay is the leader, as everybody expected him to be, and this marvellous old horse is lobbing along in front as they go to the 1800 mark, led by a length and a half to Luther, who's got right across to the fence now behind the leader. Linesman on his outside, moving to a clear-cut second, is going to make it a true stayers race. And then Delinquent on the inside of Morning Mail, a gap to Jack and Archie on the outside of Enjoyment. Joss Sticks on the outside of He's a Dane, a gap to Racing Rider, who's travelling well back in the field at the moment, followed closely by Ask the Waiter. Ice and Glass is in front of those horses, and a long gap then to Nazarich, and Planet Hollywood is last as they go down the back. 1,300 metres out in the cup, and Stony Bay setting a true pace, led by a length and a half to Linesman. Luther's third, getting the box seat run, followed by Morning Mail on the outside of Delinquent, and then Jack and Archie on the outside of Enjoyment. Further back, Josh Dix, who's 3 deep around He's a Dane and Racing Rider, and then Ice and Glass on the outside of Ask the Waiter. Second last, Planet Hollywood, and Nazarith's last about 12 off the lead. Stony Bay continues in the role of pacemaker as they get to the top turn at the 900. Linesman second, keeping him honest. In third place, Luther, followed by Morning Mail. Jack and Archie about to take off 3 deep, followed by Josh Dix. He's a Dane is now getting between horses. Further back is Delinquent, then Enjoyment. A good gap to Racing Rider, followed by Ice and Glass, Planet Hollywood, and back at the tail, Nasser-Rich and Ask the Waiter got shuffled back to last as they near the turn. He's having no luck at all inside the 600 metres mark. Stony Bay the leader, Linesman in second place as they turn for home. Jack and Archie on the outside, Luther's on the fence, followed by Morning Mail, and then He's a Dane, Ice and Glass and Josh Dix. Ask the Waiter's a mile back, and I don't think the good Lord can win on Ask the Waiter as they come over the rise. 300 metres out, Stony Bay joined by Linesman, Jack and Archie. Further out, He's a Dane, followed by Josh Dix and Ice and Glass. Jack and Archie, Linesman, Stony Bay coming back again. Jack and Archie, Linesman, Stony Bay, Linesman 59.5 kilos fighting back. He's a mighty horse. Linesman beat Jack and Archie. Stony Bay third, then Delinquent, Josh Dix, Luther, Morning Mail, Ice and Glass, Nazareth. Ask the Waiter is well back with He's a Dane, followed by Racing Rider, and then Enjoyment, and Planet Hollywood is last of all.
Well, that was a fabulous training performance by Gay Waterhouse, or more particularly her dad, Tommy Smith, who's been in charge of her operation while she's been overseas. Linesman in the white cap fights back to beat Jack and Archie with the pacemaker Stony Bay third. No luck for Darren Beedman on Darren's day at Randwick, and back to Richie Benoit.
And we'll wait for the unofficial winner there. We're waiting here also for the action replay for a run out.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bill. Well, Ask the Waiter might have lost in the Summer Cup, but boy, oh boy, you wouldn't have known it from the reception the racegoers gave Darren Beedman as he came into the enclosure. And have a look at that, Darren's famous leap. At this point, I caught up with Darren and had a chat with him. The loser had a bigger reception at Randwick.
No, mate, it's nice to be able to come back. You know, a bit of a hero, even though I didn't win. So
Mate, you're going out a winner. Is just a little tinge of regret here as you walk off Royal Randwick?
not at all, mate. No, not at all. You know, I thought I'd be more emotional than this, but you know, I really feel happy with what I'm doing.
And very happy, I'm sure, with the reception you had from the punters today.
It's just been overwhelming, really. You know, fantastic, and you know, it's been a really enjoyable day and a memorable one.
And so a long line of winners. It started with Flagette at Wyong in July 1982, finishes here at Randwick on Boxing Day 1997. And the score stands at 1,109 wins to Darren Beedman in Australia, France, Hong Kong, and 46 Group 1 winners. A job well done from a great jockey. Now it's back to the cricket and Ian Chappell.
Thanks there to Ken Callender at Royal Randwick. Well, the situation here at the MCG.